the end result is to get clean, get into recovery, but you cannot have a spiritual experience if you have a block of a narcotic.
Welcome back to the Hopeaholics Podcast. I'm your girl, Natalie Eva Marie.
And I'm Chad Carlson, and you're listening to the #1 addiction and mental health podcast.
And you guys, if you or a loved one is struggling, make sure you head to askevamarie.com or chaddick.com and chat with one of our AI companions 24/7.
Or text the number right here on the screen.
Together, we are breaking the stigma around addiction and mental health.
And fighting the fentanyl epidemic.
Now, let's get into the episode.
Michael, welcome to the Hopeaholics Podcast. It's freaking crazy, dude. Not just getting him here. Finally.
Yeah, thanks, dude. Thanks for the invite.
I mean, he drove far.
Ventura.
Yes.
Yeah, that's where I'll be in Christmas time. Ventura.
Any excuse to come to Orange County, though. That's where I'm from.
Yeah.
Any excuse.
You grew up in HB?
Yeah, I grew up in Huntington Beach when I wasn't doing time. Yeah.
What was it? What was life like for you growing up? What was that?
Yeah, take us back.
Well, my parents didn't want to be in the parenting business, so I'm a foster kid, but I didn't really stay at fosters. I ran from everything, so I kind of ran the streets and started doing time really young, like juvenile hall and all of that stuff, and then I would just run from there until they would, higher levels and higher levels and higher levels, and, start growing up in the system.
Yeah. Before, so no traditional high school growing up?
No, so I went to Marina.
Oh, you went to Marina?
Yeah, until I went to California Youth Authority.
YA.
Yeah, and then I never got that piece of paper. I don't even have a high school diploma.
Oh, wow.
No.
So I know a lot about you just because of like the different businesses that you've had.
Yeah.
Where I'm kind of trying to figure out where to start. What came first? What was the first business that you did?
Wait, I have a question before we get into that part.
Besides drug dealing.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say legitimate or not legitimate, bro. My first hustle was 10 years old, hustling illegal fireworks at school. That was my first business.
That's hilarious. Mm-hmm. What were you gonna ask him?
So, do you have siblings?
No. I don't have any living family except for my daughter.
Wow. Okay. Mm-hmm. And then, do you remember? Or were you put into foster care like straight out as a baby, or
no?
Did your parents try?
So I'm Irish, 100% Irish, and my grandparents had taken me because my parents were addicts, and then when they went, my grandparents had me, and then my grandparents died.
Oh.
Yeah.
And that's kind of when you went into the system.
Yeah, well, they tried to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now we can go into the business.
The businesses, because let me just name the ones that I know.
All right.
I know you had Felony Fights.
Yeah.
And I don't know which was before that. I think maybe before that you might have worked in the production of porn industry. Adult.
Yes.
Entertainment.
No, it actually came after. Well, during. The whole porn thing was a fluke.
It wasn't on purpose?
No, that's what's crazy. It wasn't on purpose. Honestly, it wasn't. When I did Felony Fights, it like hit huge all over, dude, the world, and that was back when YouTube, it's funny because I had a resentment on YouTube for the longest because YouTube wasn't what it is today, and our content was one of the contents that made it what it is.
Yeah.
Every time a Felony Fights would get uploaded, they'd get millions. And then I had all the DVD sales and all that different stuff. And because of Felony Fights, I would do like soundtracks with all of these like really famous hip hop artists and metal and punk rock. And so I started doing some music stuff off of the Felony Fights. I did stuff, clothing lines, a bunch of different clothing lines off of the Felony Fights. And the thing about, back then it was kind of a party thing down in Orange County. There was like us, the guys from Tap Out, Black Flies, Metal Militia.
Didn't you say what was that other one too? The they did like rings and stuff. Something Star.
Oh, Silver Star.
Silver
Yeah,
Star.
Luke from Silver Star.
Yeah.
Dude. Yeah. They were Tap Out's competitor or whatever. Yeah, down here. So we were all like these companies of like party companies or whatever, and all the girls that were my models or whatever in Felony Fights were all from the adult industry, and my exes, if you call them that, or, weirdly enough, ended up being, if they hadn't been on that or off a pole, it seemed like I wasn't interested because broken people look for broken people.
Yeah.
Right? And, because of my models, they were getting screwed over, but actually in business a lot. And back in those days, it's crazy with the adult industry. So back in the day, what girls could make good money, if you go and you go on a shoot, you get paid once. But it was their websites back then is where they could actually make revenue, right? Like today with the girls with the OnlyFans or whatever.
Yep.
And there's prior OnlyFans. And so, but the girls would come in and they would always get taken advantage of. And it was kind of like a cliche thing with that is guys would go and a girl would come in the industry. They would buy their name, .com, and then they would approach the girls when they would start getting big because their films would come out and they would do a 50-50 split with them. And they would say, all right, we're going to shoot all the content. We'll do the online stuff and we'll give you 50%. The girls always got jacked. And then they couldn't really do anything about it. Back then, I wasn't even though I had legal companies, my friends and I, didn't take people to court. We took shit. So some of the girls that I knew that were friends of mine, I found out that they were getting ripped off, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, what? So these guys, where they live, and they're just taking your shit. And I'm like, that's...
And the guys that were doing this probably weren't typical street dudes, right?
No, they're dorks. They're internet nerds.
Yeah.
They're internet nerds with lawyers or whatever. And,
Yeah.
And the girls, they would take advantage of them. And so some of these girls, I was just like, this is bullshit, And so, yeah, I remember the first time there was a girl, I'm not going to say her name. She's actually really famous now, non-porn. And she's a really good person, transformed her life. Anyway, it started with this one girl that was a friend of mine and one of my models. And I found out these guys had like taken her shit. And she's like, yeah, they just ripped me off. And I'm like, do you know where they live? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, no, they didn't. So I went over there, me and my friends, and took their computers, took the content, and, and I told them, and I already had a production company. So I was like, look, you guys are so crazy. I said, look, why don't we I'll have my team do it and we'll just do that and you can get paid way more, and that's how it all started. And then I'm kind of a hustler, entrepreneurial kind of guy. So I figured out how to, because the girls were like paying for talent and this and that. And I'm like, why do that when this person wants content? Now it's like a common thing, content trading or whatever.
Yeah.
But back then they weren't thinking about that. They were all just getting work. So I was doing the content trade thing and all that. And I made them a lot of money. And I kind of got lost in it, dude, because I started in my addiction, And
Were you sober for a minute?
No.
Just not as bad.
Yeah. So the way my thing works is I didn't think I was an addict because I've never used doing time. And when I was really young, I was really heavy in the gang stuff for like my whole life. And when I was really young, my homeboys had told me that, one of the things, if you want to be a chief and not an Indian, don't use. He said there's 3 things to not do in there. And if you don't do those, you can be a chief and not an Indian. And I've never really been interested in being an Indian kind of guy. And so, so one of which is don't use. And so I would get busted and I'd be like strung out and I'd kick, on the floor.
The old school way.
Yeah. And then I wouldn't use the whole time. And my biggest hustles were always selling dope in prison. Like that's how I started Felony Fights. That was the money. That's what a lot of people don't know is it was started with the illegal drug money that I made in prison. Drugs, lighters, porn, you name it. I hustled something and I'd have all the guys selling something on every yard, and, yeah, anything illegal, contraband, it was like there's money in it.
There is,
tattoo ink, you name it,
Yeah.
And I would have all these different yards selling different shit, and anyway. So but I would never use in there, and I'd always be slinging, selling, and but I'd get out and I'd pick up, and as we all know, sitting here, I'll take it, it takes me, and there I am, a slave again, right?
Yeah.
And This time though, I had, prior to Felony Fights, I'm also kind of not one of those guys. People that do time, for the most part, not everyone, but most that do time, I feel like, same with, it's kind of similar to rehab. They're in there and they talk about what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
And, they never do shit that they're talking about, right? Yep. They've usually never done the shit they said they've done. and
then they get out and they still ain't doing the shit that they're about to, that they've been talking about.
But for me, I came up with the plan of Felony Fights while I was in prison. And because something had happened this time that changed my life, and it was having a daughter. And I don't come from a good family. I don't know even what that looks like. And honestly, I didn't even want to bring a child into this world. I always looked at the world as a hostile place. And but I ended up getting busted that time, and I'd taken a deal for 6 years. And some girl came to visit me, didn't even know her last name, some girl that I knew, and she was pregnant with my daughter. And so I spent those 6 years, like, with every intention in the world of, like, getting out, suiting up, and being a dad, and so I, like, would read these parenting books and, I say this all the time, I'd watch TV, and I'd watch, like, these stupid family shows, and I'd be like, all right, this is how a parent acts or whatever, And I had all these plans, and I knew that, like, I've never done anything with my life, other than, like, illegal hustles and robberies and shit like that. And so I knew that I had to, like, have money legitimately. I figured I needed to find her, because her mother was, getting loaded still and just doing other crazy things. And so I knew I needed stability, what my version I thought was back then. So I had a plan of doing this underground fight club called Felony Fights, and I had some friends that would film it, and I got it into distribution because of another friend of mine that had started Death Row Records, actually. And I hit best-selling, all over Best Buy, Sam Goody Tower back then, and all the other places. And
what year was that?
2004. Okay, no. So 2004. So it was wild, bro. I got out June 2nd, 2004. The first quarter of 2005, I hit best-selling in Best Buy, Sam Goody and Tower, and all that. And I remember going, well, I'm a producer, whatever that is. And I was just a gangster of the company, dude. I was wild, because all of a sudden I have, like, just money coming everywhere, bro, because I had the distribution deals with, like, I had this one distributor, and back then they were distributing UFC, and they were one of the largest. Ventura Distribution was the name of them back then. And they had UFC before UFC distributed themselves, Jackass, all of these other ones. And our category is called Ruckus Films. And back then, it was, like, really hot, dude. All of these, like, special interest films, and we had the most violent content that anyone's ever seen back then. And so, we were the ones that spawned World Star Hip Hop and all of that stuff. Our content spawned a lot of these things. And, so it just went crazy. And, I got an opportunity to get my daughter and do this thing, and I met a girl, and she was crazy as hell, so she was perfect for me, and I thought, so I married her, of course. And and I just and I started drinking, because I never thought alcohol was a drug.
Yeah.
I was like, that's pussy shit. You know what I mean? And me, I'm kind of I'm a pig. I'm black and white kind of guy. Gray has never been a thing. So, like, whatever drug I would use, I did a lot of it and too much, and I would just destroy my life really quickly.
This episode is brought to you by Wolfpack Bags. This gear is meant for anybody gym, lifestyle, to anybody that's on the move. I mean, I like to say that us here and everybody that tunes in, we're not average, we're always a wolf. They have all the goods that you need, especially for anybody that is looking for a bag to carry their meal prep, a lunch pail, anything like that. They have you covered. So once again, go to wolfpack.com, use the code Hopeaholics, save 10%, and join the pack.
Alcohol was a different beast. Was a different beast for me, because I started drinking, and it went with a lifestyle, and the crazier I was, the more money I was pulling in, and like my distributors love me, dude, because every piece of content, because I did like Felony Fights, Queen of the Hood. I did this series called Sick Fuck TV. Like anything that I was on film on, it hit. You know, I did Porn Star Punch Out hosted by Ron Jeremy, you know, and, I don't want to say Ron Jeremy's name anymore. Back then, that was a good thing.
Wait, what's the negative connotation on Ron Jeremy's name?
Isn't he a rapo or something?
Oh, is he?
He's in prison for rape.
Oh, he's in prison?
I don't know. I didn't.
Can I not say that?
No,
knew
no,
that.
I didn't know.
You totally can say it.
Yeah, we could say whatever.
I think he's a rapo.
Is that the thing?
Oh
I
yeah,
knew
that
something went down.
word is a word that YouTube doesn't like. Yeah,
right.
but
yeah,
rapo is fine. And instead of the other word, most YouTubers say grape.
I think he likes to smash grapes that
Wow,
are unwillingly wanting to be smashed. It sounds like.
How crazy! I knew something. He got caught up with something, but I
And
hadn't.
what's crazy is Donna has met Ron Jeremy because my
I knew him so well, bro, dude. I knew that dude so well because he would party with us. And
Yeah.
he was, he was a creepy dude, bro.
Yeah.
And I could get Ron to do anything I want. All I would tell him is the girls that I have there. And he always wanted to be an A-list kind of guy, and he became a B-list guy because he was getting older, and and the girls didn't like him in the industry. That was the whole thing that a lot of people didn't know. That wasn't in the industry. The girls don't want to shoot with him.
Oh, wow.
Oh no, they did not.
I mean, he's not attractive.
No, it was also the way he behaves,
Yeah,
And,
for sure.
And so, ultimately, who runs that once you make it to a certain point, it's not the producers that are running the show; it's the girls. The girls decide who they're shooting with, what they're doing. That's how the game goes. But anyway, I was really good friends with the girls, so I would get Ron Jeremy. I used to book them for like comedy shows and all this other kind of crazy shit, and I would promote all of my, because I did a lot of club promoting also. I used to have this promotion called Club Felon that I was
Super
doing
smart. Before anybody was doing shit.
Well,
like
that's
this.
that's what I was like. You were creating content. You were doing social media.
You were like
before-
vlogging.
way before anyone.
before social media.
You should have seen
even
my
exist.
MySpace, bro. I so
Which
wish that
sucks, though.
MySpace was back, dude, because fuck, I crushed it on MySpace.
But then I couldn't
forgot about
imagine the
MySpace.
monetization that he could have had back
oh,
then.
dude,
today?
I would be fucking blowing it.
Like
Well, on top
consistently.
of that too, because if it was hitting in the millions today, it would have
Within
been hitting,
days.
it would have
Right.
been hitting billions.
billions. It would be
Yeah,
billions.
billions.
We were one of the number one content in all of YouTube.
Yeah.
And every time we'd put something on, and the best thing that happened to me, or to Felony Fights, no, the best thing that happened to me was getting.
How did you know how to, just because for our people that are listening,
Yeah.
and I think it's really fascinating, and your story is like quite inspiring, to be honest, especially coming from, not in a disrespectful way, but nothing, because your parents unfortunately decided to pick their disease over their child, which we see all the time.
I did the same thing,
Oh, okay. Well,
so I relate.
and to see how successful you were able to create something without having that foundation that some people do have and don't utilize that.
I think
as
it
well.
hinders you. I think sometimes, a lot of times, not all the time, but a lot of times that foundation hinders somebody.
Sure, I believe that. It's like basically burn the boats. Like if you don't have them, you're gonna go ahead and go.
Like because it seems to me like
Survival or not.
you're gonna and you
If you have to,
You
have
will.
to figure out how to live. Guess what? It's like any other muscle.
Sure.
It's like I started my hustle muscle at 10.
Yep.
When does most? When they
What?
get out of college?
Right. Right.
What motivated you though? Were you money motivated? Were
Yes.
you
Your kid, right?
power? No, because
I wanted to. I would tell people that, and I actually believed it. But no, what it was is if I always thought that some outside thing would make me feel whole,
Sure.
and I could not for the life of me. The big one for me was money.
Money and power.
With power, I kind of always had. I've
Okay.
never, there's different forms of power.
Yeah.
Like I've lived a crazy life. I've been on the hardest penitentiaries. YA is way worse than prison. I lived out here as a gangster. Like that, you either are or you aren't. No, I think it was this security. I had this idea that if you have enough,
Sure.
that solves every problem you have. That's why I'm glad that God allowed me to have everything I thought I ever wanted.
Yeah, of course.
And it didn't work. It's fool's gold.
Yeah.
And that's why for me, it's crazy today. And I can honestly say that. Anyone that knows me knows that. It's hard to do a deal with me. I won't do a deal I don't want to do.
Yeah.
And because you know what doesn't motivate me?
money.
Yeah, you can't change my mind on money. And I don't know here's how men are. I hate to say this. Almost all men.
Yeah.
And this has been my experience, and this is how I got a lot of my distribution deals, how I got, you were going to probably ask the question, how did I figure out how to do all these things? Because I knew I didn't know. So what I've always been good at is building teams. That's what I've always been good at, is I whether it's in prison, whether it was in YA today, and I look for talent and somebody that does something really well. And a lot of times they don't even know they do. And it's always the things I don't know. See, I've always known that I don't know everything.
Yeah.
But I try to create Voltron, right? And the thing is that men were really easy because most men will compromise themselves over, can I use vulgar language?
Oh, yeah.
They will sell their soul usually, and they don't even know it, for either, I'll just say it, women or money. I was gonna use a vulgar term.
Pussy.
And that's been my experience. And I hate to say it, but actually I don't hate to say it. I made a lot of different deals because I would see, and here's the shitty part, because I was a horrible person out there. I bet you I met a lot of men that thought they would be loyal to their wife until they met me. And then I found the right girl that would corrupt them. And that girl was going to be loyal to me. And I would get the deals I wanted. I would get the things I wanted, through either money or women. And for me, those two things, don't get me wrong, they're nice, but they don't influence me.
Yeah.
And I'm glad about that because I've been able to get them, and I find out they're fool's gold. And you know what I found out is in excess, they actually hinder you. Whether it's women or money, so.
I mean, you're smart. That's like what the CIA does, like the honeypot.
Well, that's the thing I was going to tell him. I was going to mention to him right now. He would have actually made one of the best CIA operatives. Had you, because everything that you naturally do, everything's always a manipulation.
That's why recovery was hard for me.
I'm sure.
That's why recovery was hard. I still do that. I think a lot, but now it's not in, it's weird, man. It's, well, you guys will understand. You're in recovery, right? Mm-hmm. Only God can change a full perspective, a whole perspective in a brain. Only God can do that. Like, I really believe that because my brain has always functioned in a way that, like, I see things, I watch things, I look for patterns. Like this is my first time in recovery, and I was against it, of course, because it's good for me. And and I remember when they were talking about the 4-step and patterns, I already knew that because I've always watched patterns. I don't, when someone shows me who they are, I believe them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't, I'm not painting them, the red flag's green. It's like every person functions in patterns, and it's not what they're talking about. It's what they do in the little things and throughout a day, right? And I've always known that. And it's how I survived, because I had a lot of bad things happen to me as a kid. My life wasn't always like some, hustling, making money and boss shit. No, dude, it was fucking tough, and I had a lot of fucked up shit happen to me. And I had it where that wasn't going to happen again, and I'd rather be a predator and not prey, and so, I would do that. But like, I looked at the world and everybody as like some way that I could get the best side of it, and today it's so weird. I do it in another way, but in a good way. Like, I'm really good with, I know I'm good with our people, with addicts. I'm really good. That's why I have a personal relationship with every single one that's ever under my care, because I believe God sent them to me. And I'm really good at like seeing through their shit, even when they can't, but it is like chess, trying to get to that place where they'll hear you, but I think like the motives and even the perception is different, because I'm not trying to, like, even in life, even in business, like, I have zero interest now at like living a life where you're like trying to get over or trying to fucking do all this like hustle shit. It's just, I don't know, life's too short.
And you've already been there, you've done that.
That's why I'm glad, because I've been there, done that.
Right.
And my bottom, a lot of people think my bottom is, so I got my story is, and a lot of people knew about it because back then a lot of people knew who I was. I got arrested for hitting a police officer, and I fought a life sentence.
Oh, wow.
And I was supposed to do life. They caught me on camera in court. You're not getting, and I'm the poster boy for 3 strikes. All my shit's like, real violent. And then when I go into those places, I don't play well with others, so I do a lot of other things. And And so I was done, you know, and they extradited me to LA, and because that's where it happened. And I had that wasn't my bottom though. I was rescued a few days after I'd made a decision in a multi-million-dollar house in Huntington Beach, and I had multiple houses in Orange County, multiple cars. I had all the things that I had, these little figurines and shit that were like hundreds of thousands of dollars just because they're worth something, just stupid shit, you know. And it didn't do anything that I thought it would. And I decided to commit suicide because my alcoholism, like alcohol ate my soul deeper than anything ever had because it took longer, you know?
Sure.
And it's just like, it just took everything from me, you know, internally, you know? And I decided to commit suicide, and you hear how I am. I'm a person that plans things and I do it. And this wasn't, you know, SI. This was actually a plan, and I was for sure going to do it. I just needed to get all my paperwork together to put everything under my daughter and all that. And I had a plan in 2 days. The next day I walk into my house and I'm raided. And it's like, God, no.
Wow.
Yeah. But it's like I got to have all that stuff because I had fame, money, women, like all these things that I would be
Houses.
in prison dreaming about.
For sure.
And I got everything. And I'm an addict with a bunch of money, access to everything.
That's what's impressive to me is that you were able to, you're in your active addiction, but you're able to accomplish like absolutely like.
But I think that's why I was, because I'm an addict. Like.
Were you, but during this one, you weren't shooting heroin?
No.
Right?
You're just drinking at
alcohol.
This time. Okay.
I mean, it's like.
And I was I did cocaine, so I did cocaine because I didn't really count.
But you weren't shooting cocaine.
No, but then here's the crazy thing. I stopped the cocaine, couldn't stop the alcohol. And I was drinking from the time I would wake up to going to sleep every day. 100 proof vodka, out the bottle.
So like a real alcohol.
Yeah,
you
like
became a
True Blue.
real alcohol.
But it would make me normal.
Right.
It was crazy.
And, like level you out.
You want to hear some crazy shit? I really believe to my core that vodka specifically, because it would do a certain different thing than like whiskey or something else, but vodka would make my synapses fire faster. I actually believe that because some people I'd watch and they'd be like, they'd get fucked up and they're just stupid, right?
Yeah.
And me, I'd be tripping, right? Because I'd be going because my life got where I'm like getting in front of more and more very important people that know a lot of shit. And like, I don't even know a lot of the words you're talking about, you know what I mean? And so I'm going into these massive distribution deals, and I would be like telling myself the truth, like, bro, you don't know shit. You're just a fucking thug. You're gonna walk in here with these people. They're gonna see you're a fraud. I'd take a couple swigs and I'd walk in. I'm a boss, and I would tell them how it's going. I'd come up with all these crazy ideas on the spot, and then make another fucking best-selling thing that I thought of while I'm sitting with them. And I'm like, dude, it's the vodka. I really believe that. I did. Mm-hmm.
That's insane.
Mm-hmm.
So then you walk out of your house. You get raided.
Yeah.
What year was that?
It was February 7th, 2008. My clean date is February 8th, 2008.
Oh, wow. So you literally got arrested the 7th and then didn't pick up nothing the day
I've been
after.
clean for 17 years.
Good for you.
Mm-hmm.
So after that day.
But when did you punch the cop?
So here's what happened. So I had punched the cop months before, right? And this is something I never had before. Bail. Attorneys.
Because you had money.
Yeah. And I'm sitting there talking shit while they're like fucking me up, you know? And I'm like, I'll be out in half an hour. Do you know who I am? Like, how embarrassing. You know? That came out in court. Once I'm sober thinking, like, oh, that was so embarrassing. But and so I get bailed out. And a weird thing happens when I'm fucked up is I thought my lawyers or something just like kind of made it go away. And I just lived my life. And, you know, I don't open mail. You know, when I get to a certain point.
Yeah, me too. I actually started throwing it in the fucking fire, dude.
Because at the end, I wasn't that functional guy I was just talking about. At the end, it went from this huge world where I'm traveling the world and I'm doing all this stuff to trying to hold it together. This whole like, you know, spinning plates and then I was just, you know, in this big house and in just this room, and I wouldn't leave, you know? Mm-hmm. And it was like...
Was there anybody at that specific time when things started seemed like they were spiraling were there any people around you that saw that you were spiraling? Or did people, or were you still bringing in a shit ton of money at the time and everybody was still kissing your ass?
There's the problem.
Yeah.
Right there. See, anyone that would insinuate that, like, it's getting out of control, or my interpretation, because I knew it was. I knew it was, but I was telling myself it's not, I guess, right? And I had this thing. I didn't take in mind. I knew nothing about recovery, anti-God. To me, showing weakness was of the never gonna fucking happen, you know, and even to myself, which is this weird thing, right? And so I didn't want to admit this, and so when anyone would even insinuate, I would say, the day you can hustle like me is the day you can say something like to me. And here's the fact, though. I was probably hustling at 20% of my potential, maybe 10, but that was better than most people's 100. And so that's all I looked at. And it's like, once again, you know, judging me by other people, you know, and that I always did that my whole life, good or bad, you know, and of course I can't see reality when I'm doing that, you know. But yeah, you know, I don't know. I had a lot of the life that I lived, bro. Honestly, I never let anyone come in all the way. That's what it comes down to. And the person that loved me, you know, that my daughter was taken, that wife that I had, she loved me. She loved me as best she could with what she had. Same. But it was the most I'd ever been loved, you know, and she was wild and crazy like me, and she loved me, so of course I had to push her away. You know, I kicked her out to this day. I don't know why, you know. Well, I do know why, because I've done some work on myself, and it's because I sabotage, because subconsciously I don't think I deserve it, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to, you know, do the self-fulfilling prophecy. You know, no woman had left me since my mom at 6, dude, until actually recovery, until I got married in recovery. But I thought it's because I'm some kind of, like, I don't know what, but it's because I wouldn't stay long enough,
Right.
you know? But I was just broken people attract broken people, man, you know, and that's what I attracted, you know, and so it's no one's fault at all. You know, it was like I only wanted around me, you know, people that were like me, you know.
Yeah.
So that's why when I got busted and I'm hearing I'm going to do life, guess how many people are around?
No.
None.
That's right.
0.
That's right.
That's what happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because out there, although it seems like you can breed loyalty in the non, because you can breed loyalty in the real world, in the recovery world, and
100% in recovery you can.
But in that world, it's just people are only loyal to the person that
Transactional.
it's transactional.
Yeah, and you know, and I think that the loyalty, you know, is based on, you know, there's a price, you know, and once you hit that price, you know, that loyalty can be bought somehow,
Yeah.
or another, you know, and
Yep.
you know, just like me, but you know, I'd walk around and I would tell the fucking world, bro, on how I'm down, I'm loyal, my word's good, and all this wild shit, dude. Until I really looked at myself, one, I wasn't honest. My word was not fucking good. You know it wasn't first and foremost? Myself. You know how many times I promised myself shit and I couldn't keep my word?
Yeah.
And loyalty, my fucking daughter's who I should have been loyal to. No, I wasn't loyal to anything.
Yeah.
Not even myself. And it's like, you know, but I also didn't understand what it was. And that's why I love recovery, man, because I can honestly say that, like, every part of recovery has been a new experience for me. And I've learned literally so many different things and how to function. And there is I have so many loyal people in my life today that are capable of being loyal. You know, I have honest people in my life that know what honesty is and not just truthfulness, you know. And you know why that is, I think? Because I was looking for it, and I have a list, and I had to become it first.
Yeah.
And then only then could I attract it, you know, is what I think.
How'd you find sobriety? In prison?
So I'm in jail fighting this sentence, and there's this guy named Richard Pintel. And he's this criminal attorney that was the baddest motherfucker I'd ever met, dude. And he would get my friends off of everything when I was out there. And he was like this, like, real kind of, not sleazy, but like no matter what, he won everything. And he would do everything from gangsters, mob people to celebrities. And like he had it handled. So when I get busted, all of a sudden they snatch up everything from me, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so I don't have the money. And this guy's very high end. And he comes to visit me and he's like, bro, I'm so glad you didn't get caught with a gun, because I was always running around, always. Would not go anywhere without a gun. And I'm like a felon.
Yeah.
You know, there's this whole thing called felon with a firearm. And
Right.
That's meant.
Yeah.
And, but they got me at my house when I'm walking out my door. So, anyway, he came to visit me and I'm like, bro, I don't have the fucking money, dude. I don't have access to it. And he's like, no, I got you. So he tells me while I'm in there, I'm in LA County, I get extradited to LA County jail from Orange County. And then, and he says, I'm going to try to pull these strings. There's this program in jail. It's a drug program in jail. He's like, you're not eligible because of my custody level. I'm super max, you know, because of what I'm fighting.
right.
And he's like, I'm going to try to pull some strings. I need you to go in there and act like an addict. Because if he'd have told me I'm an addict, shit, I ain't an addict.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like an addict is like some dude sucking dick
Sure.
for crack.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
a fucking
yeah.
addict, you
Yeah.
know? And, you know, them, you know?
Yeah.
I'm proud to be an addict today. But no, and I said, let me think about it. And you know what's crazy? So here's the crazy part about that. 2 weeks prior to that, I'm in my house in Huntington Beach. And the reason I decided to kill myself is because I went through my head and I realized I've tried everything. I'm finally out of ideas. And I always have ideas for you, him, me, everybody. And I've tried everything and nothing fixed me. And I was in a house alone with the person I hate the most, me. And it's like, what the fuck happened in the game? And I'm like, this is exactly as I was as a child. This is exactly as I was at 12, at 16, at 20. And I'm like, this is the craziest thing. It's like, so I thought I must be insane.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know about addiction. That was the last thing I thought it was. And I'm like, I must be insane, because who would fucking like trash their life and throw out their kid and, you know, and someone that loves them, their wife, who would do that? But somebody that's insane. And I'm like, I must be insane. And I just gave up and I said, you know what? I'm always going to be this way. And I've gotten everything I thought would fix me, and it hasn't worked. And so I'm like, fuck it, you know? And so 2 weeks prior to that was that. So now he gives me a new idea and he says, I need you to go in this program and act like an addict. He gives me an idea I've never had, and I go, let me think about it. Of course. So, and the reason that was is because I was really into all the, you guys might not know that, prison politics. So I was in all this prison stuff, and I didn't know if I can be there. There's different things in prison where like you got like, you know, child molesters and rats and shit like that. And you're not going to put me on one of those fucking yards. You know what I mean? And so I wasn't sure what this whole thing was, you know? And so I said, let me think about it, as in I got to find out. Let me see if I'm allowed to be there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so he has me transferred anyway, and I was so pissed. And I go in there, and these people, I walk in, and it's in jail. And the way I look at things is like, as soon as you get busted, there's a bunch of rules that we play. And I was really into playing those like dumb, stupid rules. And I look around, and everyone's like hanging out with each other, different races. They don't do that in prison. They're like laughing with each other and shit. And there's no time for laughing when we're in there. We're supposed to stare at each other and fucking look like we're hard. And
That was in LA County?
LA County. Yeah, it's called Impact. Impact saved my life.
Oh.
Impact in custody in jail saved my life.
Yeah.
And they're one of the oldest treatment centers. They've been around since the early 60s.
Wow.
And anyway, I go, and so that morning I get up and I make an announcement because everyone keeps trying to walk up to me and put their hand out and shake my hand. And I'm like, fucking, what the fuck are you doing? So I made an announcement. I'm like, I threatened everyone. I said, don't fucking talk to me. I'm going to prison. And if you fuck with me, dude, you're going with me. I'm going to fuck you up. And so I was tripping over this whole situation. And then my lawyer comes to see me, and he's telling me all this shit. And I'm just like fucking pissed. And I was like, bro, these dudes are a bunch of weirdos. They're talking about some weird ass shit in here. I had no I'm one of these, literally, I'd never heard of recovery. I heard of AA, and I don't know where. I don't know if it was TV or I don't know where, but it's kind of weird that I was living in this world and never knew anything about recovery.
Right.
But I'm looking at the book. It looks like a Bible. I'm anti-God. The Illuminati symbol on it, you know. They're chanting. Everyone's holding hands. Yeah. You know, they're like, oh, if you leave us, you're going to die. And they're like, but it ain't a cult. And you're like, oh, okay. So I was tripping, dude. I was tripping. I was like, what kind of fucking way out shit is this? And so I wasn't a fan. And then I saw the steps on the wall. And right away when I walked in that day or that night, I saw on the wall that word I hated the most.
God.
Yep. And I was like, oh, fuck that shit, dude. And because I resented God. I was raised Irish Catholic. And I resented God because I thought if there was a God, he doesn't like me. And so I kind of had to deal with God. You do your thing, I do mine, you know? And so anyway, I was against all that shit. And I ended up getting kicked out, of course, because my mouth and my threatening people. So they send me back to mainline. Now, here's how ungrateful I am. Not paying that attorney. Impact, the way that they get paid is through people that get drug court. I'm not eligible for drug court. I'm fighting a life sentence. I'm the only person ever that's been in that place even today. I'm the only person that's ever happened. It's because there's this amazing judge named Judge Tynan. And Judge Tynan created drug court in Los Angeles. And drug court that you see today throughout the United States all came from this one man. And at Los Angeles County, they started drug court and it went all over. That judge is close friends with my friend attorney, right? Because my attorney friend got disbarred a bunch of times. I thought it's because he's like some gangster sleazy dude. So I get kicked out. My attorney comes to see me, and I'm not even thinking about all these people that are doing this shit for me. Right? And I'm just ungrateful as a motherfucker, looking down on everyone from a curb, you know? And he comes to visit me, and I'm telling him about all the weirdos in this room and shit. And he's like, I'm one of those weirdos. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he tells me a story, and he's an addict. And I'm like, the fuck? No, you're not, bro. I'm like, you're like successful as fuck. You're like a good dude. And I'm like, bro, you're not like those weird. He's like, I'm exactly. So I didn't understand. And he goes, I just need to ask you to behave yourself. I'm going to pull some more strings. So I tried my best. My behavior wasn't that great. There was a lot of work to do. I try not to threaten people, you know, and he sent me back. And they would make us do step 1, 2, and 3, 1, 2, and 3, 1, 2, and 3. And I fought that sentence for 1 year and 4 months. I have a very good working knowledge of step 1, 2, and 3. I got an amazing sponsor. It's just, I have a weird story where my sponsor I knew from the adult industry.
Wow.
And it's just, God for sure wanted me in recovery. That attorney happened to be in recovery. When I got out, he became like my father figure. I spent every holiday with him. He did everything. He passed away a few years ago, and we're so close. I'm the executor of his estate.
Wow.
Out of everyone in his life, this guy. It's like that's cool, you know. But
That's God.
I mean,
Yeah.
You know, like,
because I love
I
him.
mean, here's the thing, dude.
I love him.
Fucking God just went and got one of his soldiers, one of his generals out of the mess he'd been
Yeah.
building his whole life.
I think the sicker we are, the more work we can do for God.
Yeah.
Big time.
100%, dude.
The deeper, the darker, the mess, the further. I mean, because here's the thing. You got our job as recovering addicts, but as human beings, but especially as people with stories. Our job is, once we get out of that fucking hellhole that we're in, is to go right back into that hellhole and see who else wants to come out.
Fuck yeah.
You know?
I cannot agree more.
And
Yep.
you can go into places in that hellhole that other people can't go.
That's right. No, and more importantly, you know how to get out and others don't.
And that's the thing too, because I mean, I'm not going to call out people, but there's 2 people in my life specifically who I could no longer help anymore.
Yeah.
And these 2 people are sober today because of you, you know, because of what you do.
Oh, yeah.
You know, 2 of them.
Yeah.
One of them I have to send a package home with you, so don't let me forget.
I love both those people. Yeah, one of which is such a close friend of mine now. Yeah,
and it's like crazy to me because like, you know, at the very end of one of the stories, you know, dude had worked for me for a long time, and he's a great human being with a humongous heart.
Yep.
And it was just like, my wife was like, we couldn't even let him around anymore, but we would put food out on the curb for him because like, dude, I was just waiting for the phone call.
Yeah. I can tell you this. I always talk about Bobby. Shout out Bobby. A lot of people stand at a podium and they say, I almost died. Bobby
That motherfucker.
Can I actually say it? Because when I met him, Tyson had called me because I think you reached out to Tyson to call me or something, and Tyson's telling me about this guy and this and that and his experience with you and all this big shit he's done, and I thought I was gonna get like this dude professional that was gonna be telling me, you know what I mean, telling me everything that I need to do, you know what I mean. And when I saw him, I was like, holy shit, his glasses are broken. They're like cocked, and he's got a shoestring holding up his pants, and he has
Bobby.
Yeah, Bobby.
got a wound on the side of his neck, and he's like, he looked so bad, and he's like swaying when I walk up to him and at my center, and I'm like, and I don't remember what he said, but something about some bullshit that who I know or something. And I'm like, do you need medical attention? And he said yes, and collapses on the couch. He went to the hospital and died in the hospital. Yes. And they bring him back with a pick into him. That's what I'm saying. Bobby can say that he went to the bitter end.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Bobby.
It's like crazy, and like both of these people that he helped are they're family members of mine. Like Bobby is family by adoption, and the other one is a family member by marriage.
And he's doing so good too.
And I'm so proud of him, dude,
Me
because
too,
like
bro.
I go to Christmas dinners and motherfucker be spouting off some shit, be drunk as fuck, and like his daughter is basically the same age as my stepdaughter, and they're cousins, and there's nothing makes me more proud than to see him sober and being a dad and living his life, and and I don't get to see him really at family functions anymore.
That's why we do this, though.
Yeah,
is that right there? It's like one person getting clean, that pebble effect. It's like so amazing how one person's life can affect so many.
Yep,
good or bad.
Yeah,
but it's like so cool. Like I think I have the coolest. I really believe today, like I live that life that most men. I can say without ego, most men would have liked my life. You know what I mean?
For sure.
My life is so much cooler today. Like, I really think that, like, I would have never wanted this life. That's what I was thinking about earlier. I would have never wanted this life. But my life, I think I have the coolest life in the world, right? I have the best dog. I just walk this dog down the street. I'm not tripping on anything. And
it ain't a pit bull, you guys.
Oh, yes.
Like,
I have a gangster-ass dog that goes with my prison fucking life. If you can think, what's the most foo-foo dog do you think? What's the pussiest dog?
Pomeranian.
There you go. That's what I have. I have a black Pomeranian. I love this little I rescued him, and I thought, you know what's funny? This is how fucked up shit was. I wouldn't even have taken that dog years ago because my ego wouldn't have allowed people to see me with it. That's how crazy it is. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have. Dude, he's got his own Instagram. I post him all the time. He's the coolest fucking dog, dude. I love him to death.
I think Palms are actually one of the coolest dogs
Isn't that
ever,
what
because
It's my favorite.
I have a Palm.
Cashmere?
Oh, I love that.
Cashmere is my wife. She loves Pomeranians.
I do too,
Cashmere is the love of her life. If it were between, if I went home today and I said it's me or Cashmere, I would be fucking gone.
That's a good girl. That's a good wife.
100.
I agree with her. Yeah, I like her.
I feel like I just don't even know how you guys. I'm wondering if you guys know each other, because
Is she from Orange County? Maybe.
no, she's from Agora Hills.
Oh, do I know her?
I don't know, but she's like metal. She was Metal Militia. Scummy
shit.
was her.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he used to be around. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So
Small world, dude.
it really small world.
It's such a small world.
But look at, if you go back to your lawyer, like what are the odds? And like I don't think anything is coincidence, And what are the odds of him actually taking you like pro bono? And then
Now, you want to hear a crazier one? I'm sure you can tell them in my story that I probably didn't listen to too many people.
Yeah, of course.
Right? No fucking way was anyone going to sponsor me. That was the one thing. Like, that was fucking crazy. When I was in Impact, they were talking about this sponsorship thing, and I was like, sponsor? What the fuck? And then they explained, because I was used to sponsorships. Like, I did shows.
Yeah, you get
gave
paid.
me money. Yeah, pay me. Then I hear it's someone telling you what to do. That's what I heard. Someone telling me what to do. And I remember telling my counselor, I said, shit. Because he goes, it's going to be hard for you to get a sponsor. And I go... it is going to be really hard because I'm not doing that. And I'm like, who the fuck thinks that they could tell me what to do? What gives them authority over me?
Sure.
And I'm like, you're fucking crazy, bro. And so they're explaining this to me, how there's a sponsor and then they got a sponsor and a sponsor. And I'm like, this is like multi-level marketing and shit. You know what I mean? And so I told him, I said, you know what? How's this? I'll have a meeting with a top dude. Whoever the top dude is, I'll have a meeting with him and we'll check it out. That's what I told him. And my counselor, well, because I didn't know how it goes. And I'm like, there's a sponsor to sponsor. And I was like, I'm not fucking doing that shit. You're fucking crazy. So I'm just behaving while I'm in there.
Right.
For my lawyer.
Sure.
I for sure thought I'm getting life. And I had another robbery I had to fight once that one's done anyway. And it was like, I never in my mind for a second did I think my life's not over. I'm doing life. Like nothing. I'm just doing it because the dude keeps showing up and I didn't even want him to show up. And I'm like, why is this fool fucking doing this shit? And so here's what happened. My counselor goes, one day he says to me, he goes, I have the perfect sponsor for you. And I'm like, so I'm in behaving mode. So I just, instead of telling him, fuck you, like I was talking before, I just sit there and I'm like, And he's like, he's done more time than you. He owns a company in the adult industry as well as mainstream entertainment. And he owns this lighting company. His name's Bruno. And I said, oh, that's funny. I know a guy named Bruno, but he's a solid dude. He wouldn't be part of this lame cult. And because I knew the dude and he was like real solid man. And here, you want to hear the crazy story? Here's the crazy story. You heard how I always manipulated men with money or
women.
This is what you want to hear, a God shot. So the adult expo happens in January. It did before anyway. It happened in January. And every year I would be at the expo and I'd have a booth. I'd have a Felony Fights booth and then I'd have all my girls there instead of just an adult booth. Because you go in a convention, it's like porn at first. Guys are like, great. And then it's like after a couple rows, you're like, porn. Our shit was always popping because I'd have TV screens with all the fights and shit and the hot girls. And so it used to be cool, but now I'm like trying to hold my life together and I'm so fucked off, like internally. And so I show up to this convention and we got all the girls there that I represent now, because now I'm representing a bunch of the girls and stuff. And this guy, and so I'm just all fucked off. And this guy that I knew and I'd see him on sets all the time, he was a really solid dude. He did a lot of time. He was really just a solid guy. And his name's Bruno. And I saw him walking all by himself at the expo. And I'm like, he comes to my booth and he's like, hey, what's up? And I said, hey, dude, I rented a house. We're going to be shooting. And I said, hey, you can have any of the girls you want, bro. I said, why don't you come party with us? And I remember he goes, not today. And he just walks away. And I remember at the time, I'm like, what? Like, what? But I was so fucked up, I didn't think about it again. I was just thinking about me and how miserable I am.
Right.
Until, fast forward, I'm sitting there in front of my counselor, and he's like, I got my sponsee brother. And that was another thing. He's like, my sponsee brother. And I hated my counselor. So I was like, whoever's related to you is a lame too. And so he puts me on the phone, and it's that dude. And I'm like, I said, what the fuck, bro? I'm like, you're part of this cult? And he's like, I know you don't understand, bro. He's like, we're going to do this together. And I'm like, no. I did a background on you. Because, see, when I met him, I saw some of his tattoos, and I wanted to make sure he's good. Yeah. And I did a background. He's a gangster. He was in prison for shooting cops. He's the real deal. Yeah. And then he also is, like, owning a successful company, and so I was like, well, this is weird, and just blew my mind that he's part of this lame cult, because I was like, this is a bunch of, like, weak-minded people that need to follow and that's what I used to tell them. Sure. I'm like, I wish this would work for me. I do. But it's like the same people that believe astrology is going to tell you what to do. And I'm like, is what I used to say. Not talking shit on astrology, everyone out there. I'm sure astrology is very scientific if I'm an asparagus at the sun rising. I'm just joking. No, but I used to say that if you believe in power of suggestion, it'll work. But that doesn't work for me, and I wish it would. I'm too logical. Yeah. I used to say that. I wasn't very logical, evidently. I'm in denial. And so I go back to my rack or my bed or whatever, and I thought about that day at the porn convention. And I was like, what the fuck? And I'm like, holy shit, the reason he didn't come and party with me and bang these girls, because he's married, was because he's in this cult. And see, here was the thing. Here's my one thing why I wouldn't do recovery. They would come in, I was a shitbag. They would come in and they would talk about spiritual principles. And when they would use that word integrity, I would always say bullshit. I'd go bullshit. And then they'd be like, and I said, integrity is situational. You may think you have it until the right opportunity presents itself. And in my core of cores, everybody, especially if you're a man, but even women, but especially if you're a man, the right situation hasn't happened for you to compromise yourself, but I'll bring it to you. And I went, oh my God, he was doing this integrity thing. And I was like, holy shit. So I was like, wow. So he's been my sponsor since.
So way back then, so when you saw him at the convention, he was already sober.
Yes.
Working a program.
Yeah, and he was just in his fucked
Yes.
off
And
in
you were
his
just
head.
fucked off.
He did it so perfect. We joke about, we're so close. We joke about this all the time. When he speaks, he actually tells our story.
Yeah.
Because he says a thing. He says, when you're in recovery, you got to be practicing principles because you never know who's watching.
Yeah.
It might be the next addict coming in
Yeah.
right here.
Yeah.
Not just in the rooms.
And look
Yeah.
what happened. If you
I
guys
wouldn't be
did not
here.
have that encounter,
100% I wouldn't
you
have been
wouldn't be back at your bed thinking about the situation.
I wouldn't have did it.
Right.
I know as crazy
did
as this sounds, and I mean, like I don't want to be, I don't want to get like religious, because I
love
love,
What?
I
Spit it
love
out.
spirituality, but that dude was your Jesus
God definitely sent him. Without a doubt, God sent
or your
Well, and
angel,
there's
your
multiple.
archangel.
There's multiple in your story of like.
Oh, there's
that's what
tons.
Jesus does.
There's tons because
am
God was like had to do all
I
of
am
this for
very
him.
clear today that God only got me clean and continues to keep me clean to help other addicts, to be on God's mission. I am very clear on that.
Yeah, because you're gonna reach the person that
Who God
I
wants
can't
me-
reach or he can't
who-
reach. And your story is insane.
And you will too.
You know, right?
That's the whole thing. And this is
Yes.
what I've learned is that each of us, like there's people that aren't going to hear me that'll only hear him.
Totally.
It's so important that we just get clean and stay clean
Yes.
and wait for God to put the people in front of us that are only going to hear it from us.
Yeah.
That's why you were saying the only thing I believe I have of value, the most important thing I have of value is my story.
Yeah,
That's it.
that's it.
Right.
And when I'm throwing on masks or I'm like not wanting to tell people this part, I'm robbing who God is going to put in front of me. I think that the goal for me is to be the most me I can be in every situation. My head will tell me, oh, don't do that or they're not going to like you or don't do that or that's unprofessional.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, no. It's like my job is just to be the most me I can be and let God put the people in front of me because some aren't going to hear me. Great. Some are, just like every single one of us in recovery.
Right.
And that's Bruno. It's like Bruno wouldn't have just been Bruno. I wouldn't be here. And it's like, and I've consistently, been about this thing since I've been doing it,
Wow.
And I'm a big 12-step banger.
Well,
I
let's
love
also
this.
not forget the fact that you're sitting right here in front of us where you were facing a life sentence.
Without a doubt.
So that it's
Let's get there because I actually want to know how that happened because that doesn't happen for everybody.
No.
No.
You know,
That's what my favorite thing to do nowadays is court advocacy. I'm sure
Oh,
you've seen
right.
it.
yeah, I've seen you.
I do it a
numerous
lot.
times. You do it a lot. Yeah.
A lot. You can't pay me to do it.
And he
I
looks
do it for free.
he
I
looks
kill
so
the game.
handsome when he goes in
I kill the
with
game,
his
dude.
fucking
I do.
with his suits on.
Bro, I'm batting knock on wood 1,000%. I've been all over the United
Wow.
States. And you know what? Because when my friend passed away, so it's cool, man, because like the judicial system is broken.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I know without a doubt, I'm proof that if I'm not on drugs, I'm not doing these things. And to sit there and the problem is that one, in our industry is broken. So the courts don't really know what to do. So I understand that. They put them in drug court. They tell them to go to some meetings. They go to these bullshit ass fucking programs that don't do shit. They're just a place to hang out till your next relapse. But like if you really, an addict gets help, not only are they going to transform their life, but they're going to help others or they won't stay clean.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's like, That's all I do is I go and because my friend that was an attorney, he started taking me when I first got out. I didn't really have shit going on, so every court date he took me with him, and he was having me prepare his folders and do all this different shit. Oh, he let me know I owe. No, he taught me a lot of things. You know, I remember the first time. When I got a car again. I got out with $3. This was the best thing for me. I got out with $3. Didn't have shit. My homeboy came and bought me 2 pairs of pants. I don't have anyone giving me anything. That's how I started this life today, and no handouts. And he had. I remember when I got a car, a hoopty, and it was very humbling. I showed up late, 5 minutes late, when he tells me to meet him somewhere, and he says to me, "Don't you ever do that to me again." And he said, "When you're late, you're saying that your time's more important than mine." And it's not. I live my life that way today. And you know, he taught me all these different things on what I believe a man is supposed to be between him and my sponsor. And it's like, but he would take me into court and he would show me, and he was such an he was a phenomenal attorney, but man, his heart was huge for addicts. And he would help so many addicts pro bono, you know, and he was, dude, the guy was a G. Like, I watched him fucking just rip up the courts. He did his only family law case was mine for my daughter. I've raised my daughter as a single dad since I've been clean.
How's your daughter?
She's now 26.
Wow.
She still lives with me. She ended up nothing like I was at her age. She graduated with a degree in child behavioral psychology. I don't even have a high school diploma. It's amazing.
How old was she when you
10.
Wow.
A girl. Tell me that God didn't do that on purpose.
Oh, for sure.
Right.
That's
you
why
hear my story with women.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That was the best thing that ever happened to me.
Dude.
Was having a daughter, and that's what I mean. As a matter of fact, we're doing our Recover Out Loud meeting in person that we do on Friday nights tonight. And like this morning, I was thinking, because 25 years ago today, was 2 days before she was born. So her birthday is on Sunday. She'll be 25 years old.
Dope. I know, and she's cool, dude.
And the whole reason why, like, I'm fucking, my life changed. And even though it hasn't been perfect, but everything that's good in my life happened after that day on December 14th of 2000. Yeah. Everything that exists, this podcast only exists because of her, because I would have never done this had she not lost the love of her life to fentanyl. Yeah. You know, and I would have never had Hope by the Sea or sobriety or recovery. Yeah. I would have rather done prison time back then. You know, and because she was born, I had a moment of clarity. Yeah. And I was just like, I don't want to be that anymore, and I just want to be a dad.
Yeah. That's why I actually took recovery serious. You know, I hear a lot, you got to do it for yourself. I didn't have enough self-esteem to do it for myself, honestly. You know, I didn't, you know. I did it when all of a sudden my daughter, within 24 hours of me not seeing her in years, that's a crazy story in itself, and my attorney tells me we're going to go up there, and within 24 hours of not seeing her, I have her in my car driving back, and I'm like, holy shit, I can't even keep a plant alive. There's like a human,
right.
And she's a girl. Right. And I didn't know how to do any of this shit. Like, you have to have food in the fridge every day. Yeah. You know what I mean? Ponytails, you know, you got to do that shit. Taking her to school, enrolling her in school. That was interesting. Homework, like all this different stuff. But thank God for my friend. He taught me how to be a parent too. But when I had her in my possession, I'm like looking at this human. Yeah. And a weird thing happened this time because I had a clear mind that was not on drugs or alcohol. Same thing to me. I saw things for what it is this girl and her mother had gotten arrested for felony neglect. And it was so bad, dude. And her mother is still out there, you know. And this, when I got her, she looked like a wild animal, you know. It was so bad. And I remember thinking, shit, if I don't show up, her life's going to be just like mine, but a female version. Yeah. And I was like, fuck. And so I didn't think I could do it, you know, but I remember... But the crazy cool thing was thank God for recovery. But I had noticed, the one thing I had noticed, and I was told this, and so I would look, and they say in recovery, if you do 5 things, I didn't believe them, but they said if you do 5 things consistently, not only will you stop using drugs, you will lose the desire to use, and you will find a new way to live. And I didn't believe that bullshit. And it's going to meetings consistently. It's having a sponsor consistently, as in talking to them and telling them my shit in my head, and doing steps consistently, having a higher power consistently, and being of service consistently. Consistently is key there, right? And I saw that the people that have like really dope ass lives, they were still doing all that same shit. And I noticed, so I said, all right, and that's really what made me do recovery seriously was seeing my daughter, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this stuff, and it made no sense, dude, because it was like, it's hard when you're a single dad, dude, because it's like, especially then I had no money, bro. And you know what I heard when I came into recovery that was a shock? When I got out, Bruno tells me I can't do illegal crime. And I'm like, what the fuck does that have to do? I'm supposed to not use drugs. And I'm like, bro, I have no money. I got to like do a couple, flips, to come up. And I was like, shit. And it was so hard. Like I was doing, digging trenches and just all these different things just to get money, and be legitimate. And then I got to get my daughter, get home, be with her, all that different stuff. It was tough, and then make sure I hit my meetings. And by this time I have sponsees and, all this stuff. And it didn't seem like it would, the math would work, but as they say, my math and God's math is different, and it still works.
And what's crazy is like, I mean, if I look at you in your life and today, and humbly, you don't talk about the success, but you're quite successful. You run a really good treatment center, like a really good treatment center with an incredible reputation. You do things for the right reason. And it's pretty dope. And it's for the part that addicts looking at you, it's inspiring for them to know that they potentially can too.
I tell them that every day. I tell them, I said, look, man, there's no reason you can't come up with anything on your resume, that I don't think we can match, and, your resume of why I can, or my victim,
Yeah.
I spoke like a victim my whole life. And I'm like, dude, I got a recipe. If you just do what I do. I tell every client that comes in, because I have a relationship with all of them, and I tell them, look at, man, I'm going to tell you something. I'll bet you'll never hear this from a treatment center owner. And I said, I want you guys to watch me. And I'm going to ask you to do some things. If you don't see me doing the exact same things that I ask you to do, you don't have to follow any of my rules. Is that a deal? I think it's a fair deal. And they say, hell yeah. And I said, cool. And you know what it does? It holds me accountable.
Yeah.
Because the same recipe that they need, I think that they need, is the same one I need, even today. And it's like, because, bro, just because, you guys know, just because we're clean for some time, life isn't always strawberries and orgasms, dude. Fucking life shits on you sometimes. And I'm going through some things right now. You know what I mean? Life didn't happen the way I thought it would. But it's like, but the difference is like, it's not going to crumble my whole life. It's just life, And I still need recovery to learn to deal with my emotions and not do fucked up shit,
Yeah. I mean, I know.
Yeah.
Like fucking just
my instinct is like do some fucked up shit.
Yeah,
this industry is not what it used to be. It's not it's not easy.
No.
Like this is all I've done for 25 years of my life. I mean, I had a couple breaks in there where I went and shot some dope for a little while. I wanted to make sure that do the research for all the other owners out there and guys that are doing it to let you guys know, and I'm here to let you know it ain't any better.
You're an anomaly though, dude. You're an anomaly because you publicly just trashed your shit after being big.
Yeah.
And then fucking came back, dude, with integrity. That's a fucking anomaly. If you look at since I've been in this industry,
I've seen guys publicly trash their shit and they never made it back.
I don't see them ever do it.
Yeah.
You're the only one that I know of, and I'm sure there are others, but I haven't seen anyone. Yeah, I can't think of one person. I see people come back, and I said with integrity.
Yeah.
There's the difference. You know what I mean? This industry though is just, bro. You know what's crazy?
It's ruthless, and it ain't the look. Yes, there's a lot of bad shit in our industry, and I will be the first one to tell you that.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of bad shit that controls our industry up here.
Oh,
and when I'm saying that, I'm talking about like the people that pay us. I mean,
Or
they don't pay us. I mean, they like to bend us. They bend us over.
Yeah.
Pull our pants down.
Yep.
Yeah.
And stick it in with Emily up.
This is the hardest industry. Like,
And we don't get any type of nothing.
here's the
No
deal.
lube.
I don't understand. Like, here's the thing, dude. I got into this as a fluke. I started Stairway as a passion project.
Yeah.
Because I went back to entertainment and did a lot of like fucking pretty big things. And then I stepped away because I saw what was happening in this industry, and I didn't know I didn't know because I was just a guy in recovery, and I was doing like Cage versus Cons. I was doing all these other things, and I had like tattoo shops and vape shops and all this other shit. And I had these meetings at my shops, dude. And I'm hearing about like these guys selling our people. I was like, what? I didn't even know about this shit. And then I'm literally fist fighting fools to keep them out of my meetings, like beating their asses. Cause I'm like, you're fucking crazy. I didn't get clean to be a doormat, just to be clear. I'm not that spiritual yet. And I don't regret it. I don't fucking regret it, dude. Because the law back then, there was no anti-brokering laws.
None.
And these dudes in 2017, I started almost 9 years ago, you know, and I got my shops and these guys, and it's like just crazy where I was at. And they're just walking into meetings, being like, oh, you want to get paid to go? I'll give you dope. I'll pay you to go to treatment, and then you stay for a certain amount of days, and I'm going to give you some dope some more for some more days. And then they're dying and they're killing our people. And I'm like tripping because I'm like, you know, I'm supposed to be like recovery guy. And I come into this recovery world and I'm like, all right, I left the gangster world and all this kind of crazy shit for this like spiritual, whatever the fuck, you know, hippie world or whatever is what I thought. And then I'm like, what is going down? Like this whole treatment industry in one way has corrupted a lot of recovery.
Yeah.
And like the body brokering.
Yeah.
If treatment centers weren't paying these motherfuckers, they wouldn't be doing it, right?
Yeah.
And they prey on the most vulnerable of our people because who are the body brokers? Addicts. They get our own people that are vulnerable to sell our own people, and they're dying in the meantime. Anyway, I hate these fools. And so I'm like beating fools up in front of my shop and all this kind of crazy shit, but that was the only way I'd keep them out, and they understood. And people understand. They don't do that around my places, you know? And but it's like, dude, it's like this whole industry is like, I thought, taking mine. I've done a lot of business in prison. I come from entertainment. It's done so many different things in entertainment. This industry is sleazier than any of them.
It's crazy.
Than even prison.
Crazy.
Than even prison. And I'm being honest.
Well, yeah, because innocent people are dying.
Well, not only that, but see, you have a lot of people that there's a lot of people always trying to get over and doing shit, and they don't know who they're fucking with. In prison, there's this little kind of common respect. If you do the wrong thing, you're going to get your life taken.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In entertainment, they're just like trying to get, you know, money or whatever.
Yeah.
Here, they're doing it with lives, you know,
Right.
and not caring. And, you know, I understand a normie. I don't understand a normie doing it, but I guess a normie, for you guys that are listening or those that are not addicts,
Right.
I don't know if a lot of people look at us as equals. I'll just put it out there. Even though I'm sure a lot of people will be like, oh, of course I love that. Do you look at us as an equal?
Do you?
I don't know if most do. So I do understand when they're like, you know, those people, you know, and they're you know, they're using our people like a commodity and selling our humans. And there's many forms of the way they do it. And even what this industry calls ethical today, they do it in a wrong way, in my opinion. And then you have like this whole, and it's a subpar way of doing everything. Like you have a good name. You know as well as I do, dude, most of these places are just setting up with like the most subpar. They do the minimal just to bill insurance.
Yeah.
And it's like the treatment industry has, let's look at the doctors. Almost all the doctors and psychiatrists are the ones that couldn't make it anywhere else. That's why they're in this industry. Let's be real. They couldn't. They do subpar medicine. They're prostitutes for this industry, a lot of them. They sit there and take on 20 other centers. They see the client on Zoom, and then they got to ask their name every time. Is that patient care? I don't think. Oh, and the worst is the psychiatrists that are giving out drugs.
Oh, please don't.
So I don't even know your name. I got to see you on Zoom, and I'm going to throw drugs at you. And let's just be real, psychiatry as a whole, what do they run on? Psychiatry as a whole, they go to college to learn what the medical journals tell them to prescribe for each thing. Where is those journals made from? Studies that are all financed by big pharma.
Yeah.
All of them.
It gets even more disgusting though, because the two major most evil companies in this world they kind of control this industry. It's big pharma is one, and the other one is the health insurance industry. And the health insurance industry and big pharma are in bed together because here's the thing. When I go to do a utilization review, and if you all don't know what that means that we have to call into the insurance company to get authorization for the care. And one of the questions almost every single time is what medications are they on? Are they? Why are they not doing MAT?
Why are they not on narcotics?
Why are they not taking medically assisted treatment?
Which is such a weird thing.
That's not weird, is it?
And for me, it is
well,
because
she's
I'm
new
just learning
to the industry.
Well,
like,
here, let me. I'm gonna give you.
And it makes me sad because like I go back and forth in my brain of like, okay, I chose to flip my life and pick this industry and to be with him and do this thing.
But you can be the change you want to see in the world.
Absolutely.
And we need more people like you that
with
are
the
coming in
platform
and saying, I want to change. But you want to hear a statistic? But
it's mind-blowing is what I'm saying. It's like eye-opening because I went to treatment
is.
myself and I knew that it was a scummy thing, but I didn't realize on this type
You're going to be like me. So I didn't either. I just came in from entertainment. I happen to be in recovery.
Yeah.
And then I go to like help some guys.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the longer I've been in this, the more cynical. No. Is it cynical? I don't know.
It is. It gets
the
like...
more facts I see.
Right.
I'm going to give you one. Here's one. Pfizer.
Okay.
You know how long they've been around?
It's a long...
176 years. Did you know they haven't cured one disease?
That's...
shocking.
Pfizer has not cured one disease.
No.
Not one.
Not one. 176 years? Why is that?
Right.
So they're going to do what's best. And here's the thing. It's a business.
Yeah.
The problem that lies here is, of course, they're going to do what's best for the business.
Of course.
But the problem that lies is that they have that, dude, from politicians to the rules. We have a mandate in California of giving narcotics to addicts.
Yeah.
Like, that is insane. When you say, I'm going to... Now, just to be clear here, I catch a lot of flack over my... is it an opinion or a fact? I don't know. I think it's a fact. People think it's an opinion. I call it the poisoning of addicts with narcotics. Narcotic is a narcotic. Now, I do believe in using narcotics for detox.
Yeah, me too.
That's what they're for. You have to.
Yes.
Or you don't have to, but it works really well.
Yeah.
But when you're keeping the addiction receptors open and you call it whatever, it's just like a doctor. If you get a narcotic Xanax, okay, they made that for anxiety. But if you're an addict, what does it do to you, right? But yet now they have a new one, and Big Pharma created the opiate crisis that's in the United States. Everybody knows that. And if you would have said anything about back then, like I talked today about like, oh, it's an opiate. You guys are causing addiction. People are like, you don't care about pain. That was the little thing, right?
Right.
That's what they say to me now about you don't care about addicts, because I am anti-narcotic maintenance. Because the game, and I can prove it. The thing is like, this is not an opinion. I've had thousands through my program. I think I'm the largest numbers-wise in LA. And I've had thousands through our program. And the same solution that has worked for countless people all over the world since 1939 continues to work. And treatment, I believe, is to get us stabilized. Don't get me wrong. I'm so pro trauma work. We focus on trauma in our thing,
Of course.
and I'm all about that. But like, the end result is to get clean, get into recovery, But you cannot have a spiritual experience if you have a block of a narcotic.
110%. I couldn't agree with you more. And I say this on the podcast all the time, and this is like our voice, and I hope that Emily will cut it one day. But the truth is that, like, I truly believe Alcoholics Anonymous got it right in 1939.
That's right.
You can, all the scientists, all the doctors, y'all can stop studying addiction because it is not. Yes, we have something wrong with our brain.
You can't monetize AA. Why do you think they keep trying to find something else?
But what we have
Yes.
is a spiritual malady.
Yes.
And when we actually fill that spiritual hole,
Yes.
we get better.
Yes.
We got to remove the substances. You got to stop putting shit on top of those fucking receptors. I'm with you 110%. When you cannot, and I'm gonna use the fucking drug that they use, that they push like a motherfucker. It's called Suboxone to a lot of people. It's buprenorphine, and that if you are on a maintenance of this drug, I can tell.
Me too.
I can tell.
100%.
I can tell
God.
that you're on the
Same.
drug, and you are not on the same spiritual level or mental and emotional level that I am on.
100%, bro.
Because today I'm abstinent.
Yes.
I believe in abstinence-based treatment.
Yeah.
And you know what? Here's my thing. When I will fight for the addict, I'm like willing to go to prison for the addict.
Same.
You know, I will go against the grain.
Same. Yeah.
To save a fucking life.
That's right.
Because I lost a life.
Yeah.
I lost a family member to this fucking bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
To the opioid crisis.
That's right.
That has now turned into fentanyl.
Yeah.
You know, and that's my voice. That's me coming on this podcast. And like at some points, you know, you motherfuckers are gonna listen.
You know and nobody has been able to answer to me. Now, people will say, listen, the fentanyl, the way it affects your brain, it is a very, very high level addiction. I do understand that. Unfortunately, insurance companies, let's talk about them. Insurance companies their job, or what they try to do is cut the treatment time down. And it's insane that they're not even able to stabilize by the time the insurance company is telling them to go, which is a whole nother horrible thing. And the insurance companies are paying like 5 times treatment centers of the same addict before they die, instead of just letting them go one time, longer term. But then the maintenance, I understand that sometimes there needs to be a bridge for some of us. There needs to be a bridge, but it has to end where we are abstinent. And this is the one thing nobody can answer me. Even some of the reps that I've talked to that try to come and pitch a little buprenorphine to me. Vivitrol. So Vivitrol, it's a great drug.
Yeah.
You know what Vivitrol does? It covers the same opiate receptor that buprenorphine does. But yet what it doesn't do, it doesn't give you the feel good. It won't give you any of the narcotics. It's a non-narcotic version. Why is it that people are saying, no, you got to do, Matt, you have to do buprenorphine or Suboxone? You know why? It's because if you're on Suboxone, you are going to start at you're 12, you're 16, you're 24, just like any other drug, and you're going to keep coming back week after week after week after week. And a big pharma would rather you keep coming back instead of one shot once a month. And, you know, we give Vivitrol. I'm all about Vivitrol. Yeah. I'm all about it because that bridge sometimes, you know, is really good. And I think that if you put them if they want to on that, and then they get in the steps, man, and do some trauma work on why they're sabotaging before you know it. And then they have a spiritual experience as a result of the steps. And then they stay clean and want to be clean.
But, you know, it's piggybacking on that. What's more sickening about the Suboxone and the Vivitrol is that because we believe in Vivitrol as well here. If a patient can actually get it, but the problem is insurance.
That's right. They try to block it.
They try to block it every single time, and
they want to give you Suboxone.
Yes, they do.
That's right.
And it's very disheartening.
They even block Sublocade over because they want you on the strips.
That's right.
They want you on the pill.
Yeah.
They don't want you on the shot because the shot you can actually get off of.
Yep.
So like if let's just say like you come in, we detox you, and you get one shot of Sublocade, right? So the Sublocade will, as it starts to wear off, you actually start to function, and then you don't have the fucking withdrawal.
Bro, that's what I'm doing. So if you are one of those, guys or girls, man, that have been like really hard on the fentanyl and really doing it, and you just can't get a grip. Yeah. We do that. We tell the treatment centers to detox by the time they're coming to us. We're like, okay, they can get one Sublocade, and they get the one. And like you said, man, it starts to come down within them while they're getting the recovery.
Yeah.
I have had every single one that we've done that, and I know nobody's going to believe me on this. It hasn't been a lot. It's been like probably 20 out of because we just started that policy with the one Sublocade, and bro, every single one of them are still clean and still doing it. It's a great bridge. Yeah. It's a great bridge, man. I do believe in the detox component. I understand when people are saying, oh, you have to do Suboxone for detox. Yes, it's a great detox medication, actually. Yeah. But we're gonna see in the future, like all the problems. I get a lot of clients that have been on Suboxone for like years and years and years, and we get them off of it. Yeah. And man, dude,
but that alone right there is horrible.
It's like, a harder kick than the heroin or fentanyl,
which is insane.
The detox is longer.
I mean, it's the same thing. You can go back to like whenever they started methadone. Methadone was for heroin addicts.
That's the worst.
And like the worst fucking detox of your life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like that's I love old school fucking jail, right? I can't stand jail now, man. Bro, they put meth addicts on Suboxone in jail. Like, what? Are you kidding me right now?
Yes.
So I never even had an opiate problem. I didn't test positive for opiates in jail. But so old school jail.
Bro,
you went to fucking jail.
Some of these treatment centers are doing that now to get longer off from insurance companies.
It's disgusting.
They're putting alcoholics, giving them an opiate addiction with Suboxone.
That's disgusting.
Meth addicts.
That should be a crime.
It should be.
But this is the thing. It's like I think it starts so much higher than. Of course, it's terrible, and it comes down to the facilities and doing all of these things. But ultimately, it comes down to like the insurances. We're paying these insurance companies to so-called give us the best health and health care that is out there. Maybe not all, but to the ones that are.
They're supposed.
And then they're supposed to be able to. It's like I have my monthly payment that I give my health insurance, and then when I actually need it, you're not there, and you're only going to give me maybe a 5-day off for something that is literally killing me. That makes no sense. So they'd rather me dead instead of actually getting well.
And that's not, the addiction is, we're probably one of the worst culprits because number one, our industry abuses them the most.
And we go,
but like, I don't know if I want to say what I was going to say on public air, but when somebody, when these insurance companies are killing people, not just addicts. They're not authorizing care for I need a fucking heart surgery tomorrow. Yep. And they're not authorizing the care, and then this person they're killing people.
They're killing people.
They're killing addicts left and right because like, bro, if you tell me that 3 days of detox is not enough for an opiate addict. First off, let's just say 7, but so you get 3 to 7 days of that, and then we're gonna get RTC. We're gonna get RTC like maximum of like 21 days, right? Maximum of 21 days. So they're not even at 30 days.
And they will give that the same. If you had somebody that just overdosed time and time and time again, got brought back by Narcan, and they'll
give them less because of that.
Isn't that crazy?
Isn't that nuts?
Like I just was Narcan.
If it doesn't prove that this person's gonna die, they overdosed and died. But yet insurance is like, 30 days. Yeah. 30 days. You know what I mean? You're like,
you're good. Actually, this time we're only going to give you 17 because that fucking, relapse was too much for us.
But I wonder if it wasn't being done to addicts, if there'd be more of a
uproar.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I mean, here's the thing though. They don't
public-
know what's happening here though behind the scenes, because like ain't no insurance companies watching our podcast yet, and we're not the only ones. But I'm gonna be the one. I'm gonna be the loudest because I don't think that I don't think that everybody. Because I don't care. I didn't get in this fucking podcast business to be a fucking celebrity or to be an influencer. Right. I get into this because I don't want another fucking family. I don't want to see another like the pain that I had to watch my daughter go through. Mm-hmm. You know, that's what fucking did it for me. Yeah. Like I'm done. Yeah. You know, I'm like done. And I that's when I stepped into this and I was like, fuck it. You know, whatever it is, God, here, use me as your vessel to, you know, help be the voice for people that are dying. Yeah. Because like you didn't save my life for no reason.
That's right. That's right, dude.
He didn't save your life for no reason.
No, I love that you're doing that. It's like cool, dude, bro, because like, especially like you're doing a podcast. Let's be real. There's choices you can make on this. If we're PC, I can get more sponsors, and then we can have more people liking me.
Anybody that sponsors us, we so like our meeting tonight that we have sponsors, and we don't we don't take any of the money. We put it right back into what we call the Recover Out Loud movement.
I believe that about you. Here's the thing: is you just let me say all the shit that you no one else would want me to say, because it would, you know, get a lot of people not in this industry not liking it. And definitely,
but it's the truth, and that's what we're here.
But definitely not sponsors and all. Yes. Yeah. Well, I love that, but most people won't have the balls to stand on the truth and do what's right. You know,
I'm only here to stand on the truth.
Well, it goes back to what you were talking about, integrity, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like very important, especially because we have the life that we have today because of, thankfully, in my eyes, you know, God opened up our eyes to accept this journey or these 12 steps or this way of life. But also at the same time, going back to your question about like, if it was like, you know, more so the normies or the general public, I feel like those coincides with the breaking the stigma. That's why our voices are so important, because like people think that don't either have somebody that is an addict that is close to them, spouse, brother, sister, family member, neighbor. They think that we're just this like degenerate person that's under a bridge that who gives a fuck about their life, when in actuality it's your cousin, it's your lawyer, it's your judge, it's your school teacher, we're just like
and every 5 years at the rate it's going
completely
the death rate and the addiction rate is skyrocketing. It's not going down.
Well, and look at the generational curses that it's caused through like for many years, and it spews. And then not only that, but like just in relationships alone, why do you think so much domestic violence happens, or just you name it? Yeah. Usually alcohol and drugs is a major component into a lot of these like severe issues and trauma. And then what happens? You can get trauma when you're a child, and then it carries on when you're an adult because you don't treat that trauma. And so you either always
hurt people,
100%.
hurt people.
And so then you have the world that I think that we live in today, where it's like, you know, you have a tremendous amount of people that are extremely hurt and probably not dealing with things from their past. And so they don't know how to have relationships or have these like interesting, tough conversations with other people about different opinions, different views, or whatever it may be, when ultimately we're supposed to just love one another and respect your values. Right. You respect mine.
That's what love is letting 100% be an individual, I think.
You said it.
For sure.
You be me.
Yeah.
Or let me, I'm going to be me.
Live and let live. When I came in and I read that, it says live and let live. And I remember seeing that on a Lano Club wall. And that was so powerful.
I used to hate those shit though. Like when I was
Dude, I hated cliches too when I first got clean too. Because they're all real. Every single one of the cliches are for
and now YouTube probably fucking spout them more than anybody.
I always do.
Because they're so powerful.
They are. Like they're simple.
Yeah. Live and let live is a powerful one. Because I have to tell myself that a lot when I'm like judging somebody.
Sure.
When somebody's someone's not doing what I think they should do, how they should do it, you know, in life. And it's like, no, live and let live. That's how I have to get to is live and let live. But the important part first, it says, is me live. And live is live out loud. Be the most me I can be, you know. And those that don't accept me, cool.
Hey,
those that do.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Let go, let God.
Let go. I'll do them all.
Like, okay. Like, fuck off.
I know. I
Let go
hated
and let
that
God. That one
hate
was
it
hard
bad.
for me because
too.
like I would say it. I remember saying it, but not living it.
Yeah, how do you
I
do that?
I'm like, I'm
what do
letting
you
go.
mean?
I'm letting go.
Yeah. How do
Okay,
you,
God,
yeah.
you're in charge.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. That was one that I thought
Yeah.
was astute. Let go and let. How do you let God? Like, all right, cool. It's still
Totally.
here.
Right.
I'm still
Like,
feeling
I'm
like
here.
shit right now.
yeah.
This fucking
Yeah.
this big ass mountain right here
Yeah,
in front
yeah,
of me
yeah.
is still right
Yeah.
here.
God didn't take it.
Well, but the other one is such a simplistic one that I use all the time is one day at a time, right? And I remember seeing that and I'm like, yeah, no shit. Really? Like, yes, of course it's one day at a time. Dum-dums, you know? But it's
But
like,
nobody really believes that because most of us spend the majority of our time thinking about tomorrow, and-
Totally.
or
Or the
the
past.
past. Like
Yeah.
I'm thankful that I don't spend a lot of time in the past, so I don't really like suffer from depression when I'm in my recovery. I think maybe in my addiction
used
I get
to.
stuck in the past, but
Yeah.
like in recovery I'm like. If I get stuck somewhere, it's on.
Yeah.
Future
Oh
driven.
my God! Well, what if?
How am I
that's
going to
how
do
I-
this overhead? How am I
that's
going to pay these motherfuckers?
Oh no! So I try to come up. I still do the whole like all the different scenarios.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
funny.
yeah.
I'm driving down
Sure.
here and I thought of something. I called him on something and I was
Yeah.
like, I had this idea. I think
Which
that's
is
cool
actually not a bad idea.
for entertainment value.
Sure.
I just don't put any expectations on things, and I do it in a positive.
Yeah.
See, before I would future trip on everything, and the final result in my head is I'm fucked.
Right.
Now it's never. I can't say never, but most of the time it's not. I'm always like, God, oh, this would be cool. I could do this and this and this, or this would be cool. This, and it's all positive shit.
Sure.
Without an expectation on it.
And knowing.
that's the key. The key is like I can have all these different scenarios.
Yeah.
But whichever one, and a guy the other day said it on the podcast because like you hear like some other cliches that aren't in the program are just get on the bus and enjoy the fucking journey. Look out the windows. You really do put God in charge. And here's the truth:
Yeah.
wherever God wants me,
Totally.
that's where I'm gonna be.
And he
Easy
ain't gonna
way,
drop you.
easy way, or the hard way.
Right.
100%.
Yeah, because and that's what I signed
Yeah,
up
yeah.
for.
That's right.
And I can make it easy. If today God wants me over here, great. If tomorrow He wants me over there,
Yeah.
it's gonna be just as good because I do have experience now, and I have 25 years of experience of being in business, legitimate business, and in 25 years. God has never not shown up for me.
100%.
Not once.
Yeah.
But I still
Yeah.
oftentimes live in fear
Of course.
that He's not going to show up
Isn't that
this
funny?
time.
Isn't
that
it?
funny?
And He has never not
Right?
once shown up.
I know.
Sometimes He shows up at 11:59 and
A lot of the
59
times.
seconds.
A lot of
Sec-
Well, that's why they say God never says no. He either says yes,
Yeah,
not right,
right
now,
now.
or I have something better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's something better.
as long as I'm clean. When I'm not, it's usually happens worse than I think it's going.
100%.
But since I've been clean,
Yeah.
100%, like what you just said is so true. It's like I look at my whole journey, and every single thing has worked out
Yep.
and been fucking badass. Even when I'm sitting in something, I don't know it's badass. But I look back on my whole recovery and I'm so grateful. I'm like, I'm so glad that happened. I'm so glad that happened. And I can see God in all of it. I wish I was better at seeing sometimes God in it when I'm in
Yeah,
a
of course.
feeling
Of
now.
course.
Because when I look back, I'm like, I see God in every part of my recovery, right?
I think that's everyone though. I really do
course,
because
of
I hear it, and like Joyce Meyer always talks about it. I love Joyce Meyer, and she talks about certain things like that too. For whatever reason, when we're in, especially in certain situations that we're in fear of, or like painful, or whatever it may be, it's very hard to see like God right there. I mean, there'll be maybe glimpses or little moments, and obviously knowing like everything's gonna work out. He's brought me this far. He's not gonna drop me type thing. But once you get over the hump, then you can always look back and like even like your trajectory of like where you are today, and like yours as well, mine. Like we can look back at all the years and all the kind of chaos and like craziness that has happened and all the good.
Yeah.
And like you can totally see where God was in multiple areas.
That's what I try to do. Like a couple months ago, I had another like life changed a lot for me. Didn't expect something to happen, and for once it wasn't. I didn't do some. I don't want to say fucked up shit. I didn't make a mistake, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? It just, God decided a part of my life's going to fucking change, and I had no power over it. And it's like, you know, the whole, you know, thinking life's going to be what it is, and then all of a sudden it isn't what it is. And you're like, well, part of the game is this. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, and when you're in like the whole, or when I'm in like the whole, like, what the fuck, you know?
Yeah.
I try to, I think that what it is the reason that I will like trip or whatever, or I can't be, if ever I'm in fear, I'm not connected to God. I can't have both at the same time.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's when I'll like be like tripping over fucking the future, or what I don't like to do and I'll do is, I didn't like what God just did. Do you know what I mean? I didn't like this part of the plan, you know? And at the time, and I try to go, okay, you know, let's look at my whole story since I've been clean, because there's been a lot of, since in 17 years, there's been a whole lot of different things. And I go, okay, what, I can't think of one time, not one time that I've future tripped on something and it's ever happened as bad as I thought since I've been clean.
For sure.
That's
After
not
that,
once.
yeah.
Not one.
Yeah.
You know, that's a mathematical anomaly.
Right.
You-
right.
Not once.
Yes.
And I mean, I'm
You're
in the, probably
absolutely
the
right.
millions that I'll future trip on.
Yes.
You know what my future trip is every time? No, that everything is gonna fall.
Gotta
apart.
fall, of course.
That,
Yeah.
that's
Isn't that all of us?
Right.
I think that's
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Like my whole
Yeah, for
world
sure.
is gonna disappear. Like
100%.
like my house is gone, my car
Yeah.
is gone, my wife is gone, my fucking
Yep,
Yeah.
and I'm sitting there fucking.
You know why that is?
With your dick in your hand.
You know
by
why that
yourself.
is? It's because you love your life.
I do
Right.
love my
It's
life.
because
Yes.
you love your life.
Yes.
I
And when
absolutely
we
love
love
my
something, there's that thing in us, I think, that will
Yes.
draw fear of like,
Losing it.
I'm gonna fuck this
Yes.
up, or
Or
it's
we
gonna be
or we
fucking
do
gone.
fuck. We're
Oh, I
too
could
fucking
fuck it up,
up.
man.
Oh, trust me. I
That's
have to
like
be careful
number-
of that.
yes.
I have to be careful on that.
Like
That-
the
that-
oh, I
Hey,
got
we'll
all
do
of
it on
us.
purpose.
That's yes. Well,
That's unlike subconsciously
it's
not really
self-fulfilling
yes.
prophecy. My
It's
sponsor
fucked
says
up.
that that's one of my character defects,
Yeah.
right? But see, it's good. My sponsor will call it out on me now, and he'll be like, because I'll be like tripping on something. Like
Yeah.
everything will go, some new like thing will happen in life. Like I'll just be honest. It's when I get in like, I'll be in a great relationship.
Sure.
And then it's like, then I'll go to my sponsor, like, I think I'm done. You know what I mean? And then it's like, or, I don't know. And it's like, and that right there is that thing,
Sure.
that thing that I think I'm always going to have, you
Yeah.
know, is that thing that wants to sabotage
Yeah.
me. And
Totally.
subconsciously is like, how dare you deserve this great life?
Yep.
Time to fuck it up, you know? Or it's like launching like the next thing. Like I've been able to, this time, I've been able to like keep building and like keep things. It's a crazy concept for me. Like I'm really good at building them up, but I'm better at tearing them down.
Yeah.
And that's been my whole life. And this time, everything, I can say this, I've owned a lot of different businesses and done a lot of things since I've been clean in 17 years. Not one of them has failed. You know what a wild thing is? I've decided to do something different just because. That wasn't me before. And as soon as something starts to go like really good, like when I got into this, bro, I started Stairway as a little passion project. I started a sober living. The reason I did sober living is because you can't make any money. Anyone that owns sober livings that's watching this knows you will never make any money in sober living. You won't. You are going to lose money. And it's a passion project. And it's funny because clients are like, they're making so much money because you got them in a big house, but then they don't realize how much rent are you paying? Have you thought of all of that? But anyway,
And are these motherfuckers keeping the air conditioner off?
bro,
All the lights
the-
on.
bro, you don't even want to get me started.
the
$5
the
grand a
windows-
month on each house.
The windows open.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
dude,
yeah, yeah.
like fucking
Yeah.
I have a pet peeve.
I can
It's
tell.
going over to a motherfucking treatment house or a sober living
Bro.
home, and every single window is open and the air conditioner is on.
Anyone that's watching this is gonna anybody that knows me that's gonna watch this podcast is gonna laugh at that because I literally just shut down a house because the guys would not freaking respect the house, dude.
Right.
They freaking kept doing that, so I shut it down and got a different house. I got this other one that these guys built for us, and it's all solar because it's like I can't literally get them to respect the fucking shit. So I'm like, okay, let's get a house with
Pivoted.
solar. Yeah, I had to
He
pivot.
like pivoted. He was like, "Fuck it." they won't fucking turn the electricity off, so I'm getting solar.
Bro, it's like crazy.
It's crazy.
I never factored that in as all those bills. But so it's crazy. I started sober living. So me and my business partner started it as a little passion project. And we're like, we know we're going to give, thousands away a month and just do this thing the way it worked for me. And at the time when I did it, I did the 3 things that addicts don't want to do. And at the time, it was in the heyday of body brokering, the weed shit, and all the crap that goes in. And I did the 3 things where gender specific, addicts don't want that. You must do steps or you're not with us. They don't want
like
that. And structure. We're very structured and we run on a face that. Don't like that because we know what's good for us, right? And so I thought I'd have 4 guys. I have over 160 now. That's proof of God. And everyone around us lets them do whatever they want. And that's proof of God, I think is what it is God sends the people that he wants to help, to do the 12 steps and all that. But it's crazy when I got into the actual treatment things, I didn't want to do it. And I got to say, and this is going to be the first time I say this out loud because I talk shit on treatment. I actually love what I do. I actually do. It's fucking crazy, dude. Like I love like the trauma stuff. I love like the center that we do. It's crazy. But when I started doing that and it started going really good, and then I hire like all my friends and all these people, I had this thing where we were talking about sabotaging, where the imposter syndrome came back. And I'm sitting there and I'm looking at this place and it's like this 17,000 square foot building. And I'm like, I got like these clinicians that are all 7 clinicians and they're all trauma, each trauma thing. Everyone in the building has a degree on there. I have my own medical practice where my psychiatrist, this is how I keep Big Pharma and psychiatrists from screwing us over. I have my own medical practice where the psych is our own. They don't see anyone else but ours. Same with the MD. And I'm looking at everybody in there with our 30-something staff, and everyone has a degree on their wall, and I don't even have a high school diploma. And I'm like, and I had this thing of like, oh, fuck, I'm going to fuck this up for sure. I'm going to fuck this up, And my sponsor would be like, bro, because I didn't plan any of it. And he goes, bro, God has you there for a reason. Get out of God's business. And I love when he does that with me. He says, stay the fuck out of God's business, bro. Because I'm always in God's business. I always think I'm not worthy. That ain't my business. If God has me in a relationship, if he has me in a friendship, if he has me in a business, if he has me anywhere, God wants me there. It isn't for me to decide that I'm worthy enough, I know enough, or it's not my business anymore. If in fact, I do a 3rd step in my life every day, right? If I'm giving my will and my life to God. But that imposter syndrome is so hard, and the only way it's gone where I don't sabotage is I do that, is I go, you know what, you're right, I don't know shit about shit. I for sure fuck up shit, but God knows everything. God has a plan. I just need to not do shit without God having me do it,
Yeah.
For sure.
I love that.
That's a good spot to end, right?
Yeah.
Right there.
Perfect.
Yeah.
It's always good to end. Begin and end with God.
Begin
right.
and end with God.
Yeah.
Michael, thanks so much for coming down and doing the podcast. This
Your
was
story's
fucking
amazing.
great
Absolutely
episode. I knew it was going to
amazing.
be great because
Yeah,
I knew some backstories and stuff.
But it's
I got a lot of I got friends that are friends with you. Tyson's a
I
good
know.
dude.
I know, dude. We run in the same circles. It's really cool.
Yeah.
I want to say, dude, on this thing, I got a lot of respect for you, bro. I'm really glad that you're fucking doing this, honestly.
Thank you.
I'm glad you do good treatment. And I'm glad that you're like getting a voice out here on this shit and not giving a shit, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I've been watching you doing all this stuff, and I think and I hope that God just blows your shit up where your voice is heard, your guys' voice is heard to where people that need to hear it, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The truth. And I just want to give you respect.
Thank you. Appreciate that, man.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Thank you.
Cool.